This is a track that's brought me to tears multiple times, and not many songs on albums do that. Hi guys, welcome back, and hello if you are new. So I am reviewing probably what is, I think, my most anticipated album this year. It wasn't initially, I'm not going to lie, but ever since I've heard this record, it has stayed with me like no other record has in a very, very long time. A band that are surrounded in mystery, decline to do interviews, and are a total enigma, have defied all the odds and have somehow attained this sense of never-ending ascendancy. It's honestly incredible to see what Sleep Token is doing right now. Following the release of Sundowning and 2021's This Place Will Become Your Tomb, in 2023, the band finish up this trilogy with what is easily the best release they've ever put out to date, in the form of Take Me Back to Eden. If you're not familiar with the band, they are this sort of anonymous entity known as Vessel. And Vessel basically gives up offerings to the god of sleep. At least this is what I kind of think it is. Where sound is concerned, initially the band were very much kind of a metal meets soulful vocals kind of thing. But over the years, they've kind of been incorporating even more subgenres to really kind of create a broader palette to their sound. And now they've created a frighteningly well-stocked arsenal to position themselves as one of the most exciting bands out there in metal today. So when it comes to themes, you know I love a theme. Obviously, there's no kind of interviews that have been done. There's nothing I can kind of do a little bit of research on to try and figure this out. So we're very much kind of going off of how I have felt during this record and kind of like how those themes sort of intertwine with it. So for me, I really felt there was a sense of love, sadness, mourning, but also a real sense of joie de vie about this album. Like, there's just something about it that makes you really feel. And I think that's what's made it resonate with me so much this year. It's an album that's full of emotion and life, warts and all. And I say that, importantly, because life isn't always, a rainbow, sort of like unicorns and all that sort of stuff. There are really hard times, and as beautiful as Sleep Token can be, it's also crushingly sad at times. So you might think that having already released basically half of the album, that you might kind of have a bit of a handle on what Sleep Token have got prepared. They've kept their cards incredibly close to their chest, and when you listen to the album, it is just a straight flush, and that is saying something to the level of songwriting on this record. And what I love is throughout the album, we're treated to moments of familiarity, but then really pushing the boat out and doing something completely different and new. So on Take Me Back to Eden, you've got examples of jazz on Aqua Regia, bubblegum style pop on Do You Wish That You Loved Me, which reminded me a little bit of the Her soundtrack. Then you've got kind of, I guess, classic Sleep Token songs of the likes of Rain. After that, there's an 80s sort of vibe on The Apparition, which is very synthesizers led. Ascensionism is like a huge cinematic song, which is kind of led by this R&B sort of 808s rapping kind of thing. And at the center, you have Are You Really Okay, which honestly made me think of like Jeff Buckley. It's such an eclectic listen. Each song is so radically different from the previous one, but still sounds in keeping with the overall album's theme. And on my first listen, I genuinely had absolutely no idea what I was going to hear. And then we've got the album's heaviest moment, Vor, which is just all out kind of warfare into Ascensionism, which starts with the most beautiful piano that kind of slowly but surely builds up into this epic, epic track. It's a constant push and pull of the dynamics that make this such an entertaining listen. But I have to say, the songs that stand atop the pile are Take Me Back to Eden and Euclid. They are absolute showstoppers, and you think you've heard it all kind of going through the record, and then you get to this grand finale of Take Me Back to Eden, which kind of showcases everything that we've heard in the album up until then. And then you get like, I was gobsmacked when I heard Euclid. It's the perfect epilogue. And if you're a fan of Sundowning, there's an amazing surprise. I'm not going to ruin anything. And in all honesty, I kind of love the moments where there's no riffs really on this album. It's not about the riffs. It's about how each moment suits the song and how it pieces together to become part of a whole. And whilst all of this is happening, there's a beautiful atmospheric quality that makes it entirely Sleep Token's universe. It's really hard to explain, to be honest. His choice of words are so important, and they are often very quick to see, but they also stay in the mind's eye long after you've initially heard that lyric. From an artistic standpoint, I think there is a sense of honesty, vulnerability, and actual suffering. And in a way, because of the mask and the anonymity, Vessel has allowed himself to literally bare his soul completely as it is and not necessarily have any consequence because of it, because you are that vessel. You're another being when you're doing that. Are You Really Okay Though, I think, is the song that, really affected me. I think it's a song about suicide, about depression, and the way that the song is kind of crafted, and again, the lyrics, but in particular, that are chosen, really hits the nail on the head for that sense of just being completely at a loss of what to do. If someone's suffering from depression or, has suicidal thoughts, that's been something that I've experienced personally, and it makes you feel those sort of helpless emotions of wanting to do something but not knowing how, in the most sort of brutal of ways, really. And I think importantly, it's going to be a poignant moment for a lot of other people as well. And similarly, on Euclid, this is a track that's brought me to tears multiple times, and not many songs on albums do that. And it's because of the sort of Imogen Heap style hide and seek nod of the walls are closing in, call me when you have the time. And that's just something that I feel like so many people have felt throughout the years. And it's such a small thing to just call someone, but also the person saying call me when you have the time feels like they're an inconvenience, and they're not, but it's one of those things where when that person is gone, those words mean so much, Wish that you loved me, small bird, do you wish that you loved me? And also, I'd be remiss if we didn't mention Vessel's voice. Like, it can be a safe haven completely and, very beguiling, and then sort of like turn on its head and, give these incredibly emotional words that you weren't necessarily sort of ready for. And despite it being one person, because of the ideas of like vocal manipulation and moving things around here and there, it sounds like he's almost different characters throughout different songs. And kind of similar to his musical styles, he never really stays in one place for too long before kind of changing, to a different pitch here or a different kind of tonality there. And it just kind of makes it that sort of thing where you can never quite predict where he's going to appear. Did I mistake you? There's so much beautiful imagery and true, I think, sense of love in this album, but it's also laced with this sense of suffering and sorrow that is just really hard to put into words, as I've been trying to do for the last however long. It is a total masterpiece and is right now, without a doubt, my album of the year. So with that in mind, I'm giving this album a 10 out of 10. Honestly, it is that good. I fucking love this record. So I hope you guys enjoyed this very, very long-winded album review, but there's so much on here that I wanted to do justice. Let me know what you think of the review and also the album when it's out on Friday in the comments underneath me, and I will see you guys very, very soon for another video. Thank you so much for watching.